as we shall receive from the former accounting office. And as well, I want to also restate that from the investigations we have done so far over most of these entities, strategic visit and inspection, so that we can now do thorough verification. We don't want to be humbled by a fewer observation by the Auditor General for reasons best known to them, maybe technical. So even as we interact with the Education Service Commission, we have observed that the audit report may require us to do follow-up inspection and oversight on this particular sector. So we shall determine at what stage we shall engage and interact with the practical deliverables by the Education Service Commission beyond the text as provided for within the responses. And outside we find that some of these are a bit revealing, and it remains at our disposal and discretion as to how and when we shall choose to do a thorough scrutiny on the outputs and deliverables of the Education Service Commission. So, like any other entity, we shall now seek to do some spot-on field inspection and the thorough scrutiny. But for today, we shall proceed and consider the observations as contained in the Auditor General's report. Before I can invite the team from Education Service to offer us their clarification. Honorable, your hand was up? Okay. A quick scrutiny of the report of the Auditor General. I've seen the aspects of unimplemented procurements. I think especially the 7 billion procurement allocation for construction of the head office. I've seen the aspects on staffing, the staffing gaps, and failure to take actions. Education Service, from the report of the Auditor General, for example, you didn't take action, you did not, in accordance with your strategic plan. I'm seeing issues, aspects like confirmation of qualified personnel. The target was 16,400. You only achieved 13,611. That is a percentage achievement of 84. Now, because now confirmation speaks to certainty of employment as well. Now, within the education sector, when people serve and they are not confirmed, it also raises serious concerns. I'm trying to look at your table, section 4 of the appendices of the Auditor General's report. I don't know. I can see the table is very clear that 1.3, 1.2 confirm qualified personnel. The number of vacancies, the target is different, so underachieved. When you look at discipline of personnel, underachieved. No education service personnel was disciplined according to the strategic plan and output, and this is from 2020 to 2025. Yeah, I hope that is right. When you look at support and enhance the capacity of District Service Commission, these are very critical. in the follow-up of the education sector. The number of districts, when you look at the target, it was 438, you only achieved 69, that is 16%. And then when you look at review, print, disseminate and implement schemes of service for education personnel, your target was 10,000, you only achieved 1,500. So you are at a rate of 17% underachieved. Now, when you look at so majority of the deliverables, it is from page 17 to page 17 to page 22. You use the front document in the file, the first document. First document. So the summary expose and reveal a lot of unachieved targets, which we find concerning because it speaks to the performance of the entity. And as I usher you in to offer your remarks and elaborate response to the key observations by the Auditor General, I want you to take keen interest in offering us clarity over the unimplemented targets and what have you done to date. We are considering 2024-2025 audit year. So I want to usher you in for your remarks and responses on the observations by the Auditor General.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and honorable members. Yeah, first of all, I need to thank you for the initiative that beside the narrative in the audit report, the committee also can pick interest from the institution. And the Education Service Commission is one of the institutions that will come that idea. You will become a savior if you look at where we work from in terms of space. And then you look at our boardroom full of sacks of application forms, but sitting together with them, sometimes displacing meetings, and we have been always working with finance to fund our projects to build our headquarters so that we can get to reasonable place. This is a very welcome idea. I don't know what you are going to find, what else you are going to find, but at least if you find that problem which we are facing, working space, just the whole commission occupying one level at Farmer's House and dealing with all the teachers in secondary schools and other public servants in education, in thousands that work in a very constricted place. And they haven't been given land by the Ministry of Education and Sports, which is now about 2-3 years. And we occupied that land, it's hoarded, but we are still requesting for funding. And you will be our honored guests when you come. When you find some omissions, it will be a learning experience, and it will be a basis for our future improvement. Mr. Chair, to go through the overall performance of our strategic plan, covering 2020 to 2025. Yeah, the figures are true. Some of these figures due to the interruption of the COVID disease. You remember, when we had just launched the strategic plan, COVID knocked on the door. Many activities which the commission performed were put on hold. Like you can't recruit, you can't confirm, you can't submit, all the schools were closed. Basically, even the work which we did that appears to be assessed over that period came after the opening of the school. So we are talking about the work which we did almost in 2.5 years. So all those appointments, you can see along the strategic plan, there is an overperformance in terms of recruitment. This was occasioned by our validation exercise, which found that teachers actually had abandoned schools. So the ministry had to submit so that we fill those vacancies if they are open schools. And
you mean teachers' intentional abandon the schools?
No, COVID, I think, disrupted their services. And you remember, everybody was like, teachers have resorted to become border. But when COVID displaced them, in the process of coping and survival, they discovered that the other word was more rewarding, and some of them didn't come back. So the vacancies that were created required that we fill them urgently.
These teachers are for what level? What level?
Secondary school teachers.
Secondary school teachers.
Yeah. We deal with secondary school teachers.
Yes.
Yes. And then there were also new schools which had been opened. Government had completed them over the COVID period, so they needed to be filled. These schools are called city schools. So we rushed and filled them. That's why we could be able to recruit that number of 16,000 over that period. But it's not actually covering the whole period. It is covering the period where the word started to become active again. 2020 up to almost 2023 was like a non-existent period because of COVID. So the other issues like confirmation and others usually are derived from appointed people. Every person who is appointed.
What is the consideration for confirmation?
Confirmation is that someone is appointed.
Yes.
When he takes that appointment and starts to work,
Yes.
he serves for 6 months.
Yes.
And after 6 months, that person applies for confirmation.
Yes.
If the supervisor, the immediate supervisor assesses him and he thinks that actually is confirmable,
Yes.
then he submits them to the Ministry of Education and Sports. So the Ministry of Education and Sports review the submissions. When they become satisfied that actually we can confirm this team, they send them to the Service Commission, and then the Service Commission start to peruse through their papers. Because at that level, there is always a validation. Some of the people who are sent sometimes have forged appointment minutes. That's when we discover them. Some of them are non-existent. That's when we discover them. So when we are satisfied that actually the people we are dealing with are real and they are duly employed by government, we go ahead and confirm them in service by issuing a minute of confirmation and the whole list, with each teacher having a unique identifier of confirmation, is sent to the Ministry of Education and Sports, and for us we inform the teacher the following have been confirmed using our...
Yes. How long does it take? You said within 6 months,
6 months.
Someone, a teacher, is qualified for confirmation.
Yes.
How long does it take the commission to process a recommendation for confirmation? Because you said the immediate supervisor.
That's the head teacher.
That's the head teacher.
Yeah. After they fill the form, the head teacher signs, send them to the ministry.
Did the teachers send such applications in this financial year?
Yeah, they are. We confirm. We continuously confirm those who are submitted.
How long does it take you as a commissioner?
Even we receive the submission from the ministry.
Yes.
Our clients weeks to a month. The minute of
2 weeks to a month.
Yes, we should be able to give an output.
So, in your finding, who did submit? The head teachers or the teachers did apply?
I think society has become disorganized because there is nobody who was a player. And then the previous time there was no new entrant at all because between 2020 up to almost 2023, there was no interviews taking place because of COVID. So we want to believe that that was the number that was available.
But you appointed 16,400 as a target. Yes. You achieved 17,233.
Yes.
You only confirmed 13,611.
Now those ones come later. To be confirmed, they come later.
Yes, I'm looking at confirmation. If this were achieved, 17 was achieved as a target.
Yeah.
You only confirmed 13. That's the difference of how much?
4,000.
4,000. So a total of more than 4,000 teachers could not be approved. It raises concern because 4,000 is a sizable number.
Yeah, correct. And eventually, because some of them come at the end of the strategic plan, so they are still, let me say, even after 6 months, a person can't be confirmed within like 2-3 months. Because the process of submitting to the ministry submitting to the commission may take like 5 months. So if a teacher, if out of those 16,000, a big number of them were appointed in 2024. So it happened that the period ends in 2025 before they are confirmed.
No, I think what we are going to do,
Yes.
you are going to assist the committee.
Yeah.
One will prove that you are advertised and recruited.
Yeah.
Number two, that one wants some documentary proof on the record of those the teachers who applied for confirmation.
Confirmed.
Those who are confirmed and those who are not confirmed. With the reasons why over 4,000 teachers were not confirmed. Because we want to be practical. When you talk about a number of 4,000 plus, it was your revelation that some teachers at one stage either may have abandoned school or opted for alternatives.
Yes.
We want to agree with you by understanding better that actually for those who apply for, because how will a teacher be in school or be certain of education service when you haven't confirmed him or her on duty? It can equal occasion them to abandon school. And since for them they apply private teachers, they appear to be handicapped in terms of what next. Whatever follows is within the discretion of you. And we also want to see which mechanism we use as a monitoring mechanism to ensure that if a head teacher sits on an application of a head teacher, you can also know. Some of these, have you investigated such instances where a head teacher may sit on an application by staff for confirmation?
Mr. Chair, as I stated, the process begins with the school supervisor who is a head teacher.
Yes.
Who submits to the ministry. So the best.
I'm saying, have you investigated some instances
where
a head teacher did not submit?
The minister will be the one now to investigate because they are the recipient from the head teacher.
Yes.
But in our routine interaction with teachers, there are those who pop up and complain. I submitted my application for confirmation, and as if it has delayed. But we advise them, please complain to the ministry because it is not supervisor. The commissioner has no direct law to supervise schools.
Because now, for you are the one in charge of confirmation.
Yeah,
but I think there is that procedure challenge. I think you are.
No, it is constitutional because it states that the supervisors of schools is the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
So when they are, until the ministry submits, we can't do anything. But we want to say that the ministry delayed. We want to justify that during this appointment, many of them happened at the time end of the strategic plan. So they all not be confirmed within this period.
Because with the revelation that some teachers may have abandoned the school or work, yet they apply to join. There is a spirit that they wanted to teach and offer service. Now, away from the unsustainable example of COVID and others, because a teacher still has a right to do any other business, with or without being staying as an education provider. There's some free time somewhere, and that cannot stop them. But the mere fact that this teacher applied for enrollment, applied for a job, started work, and what we hear in the public there, these teachers are more eager to be confirmed.
Mr. Chair,
in service.
Let me clarify this.
I think politics must also interact with the Ministry of Education.
Mr. Chair, let me clarify this.
Yes.
I need to clear that delayed confirmation doesn't stop a teacher from working.
But
they need
it demoralizes
some advantages
yes.
of a confirmed public servant.
Yes.
In fact, some of them because of lack of capacity to know what happened, delay submitting their application for confirmation for more than 10 years. And you find a submission is made and someone was appointed in 2013, he has never been confirmed, he's working, he's earning his salary. So the demoralization of confirmation doesn't make them to go out from service because they already serve. But what we have observed is a political lack of enough human resource services within the education system at that lower level. The teachers, if it is like a scenario which you are proposing, that if a head teacher is bad-hearted and he sits on someone,
which is very possible.
Which is possible because this is a human nature.
And you said you have interacted with such scenarios. Some complain.
Now, in such a situation, a solution will come from the human resource. But the education system doesn't have a dedicated human resource service to work on those thousands of teachers.
Because now we're talking about 4,000 plus teachers who are not confirmed that year.
Whom we couldn't confirm.
Yes.
And
you say for you support at the tail end of confirmation through the ministry.
Yes.
Now we need to interrogate this other process they did. That may occasionally delay. Because if I'm a teacher and within 6 months I doubt that there's any teacher who fails to apply for confirmation.
No, some of them don't know.
Some even don't know.
Yeah. That is where I would say there is a gap in human resource sensitization of our public servants.
Yes.
Some of them feel that confirmation is like you are allowed to serve. Until someone already sensitizes them, that's when they will rush to go. Like, because of that, they can't acquire salary loan, they can't do what. If they are dismissed, they are not given some their emoluments and others because they are not confirmed in service. So,
being that you are the responsible entity for confirmation, have you done some sensitization?
We do,
but teachers appreciate and understand the opportunities because then you will have sustainable staff.
So I think our submission is up to that level. But what we wanted to say, we don't initiate the confirmation process, but no teachers are not taught about, are not informed about what they should do, some of them. And in the face of a person who is not cooperative, like a head teacher and so on, some of them may miss out those chances for a while. I have received complaints from them where someone managed some money from them and we had to call that head teacher. Say, I can't submit your application for confirmation until you pay this. You say, why? That's because they know we can respond to them, but that's not much of our work. And we advise them go and report to police or write to the ministry. So there is a gap in human resource.
What does disciplinary for teachers?
For certain teachers?
Yeah.
Ministry, the supervisor, but eventually when the discipline, nature of indiscipline is big, then the constitution demands that they submit them to the commission.
Have you heard of some cases of such indiscipline?
Like
head teachers demanding money from teachers?
No. The common indiscipline is forging documents. And now, sometimes teachers forge documents because someone couldn't support them, their documents to progress. I want transfer, so I'm applying through the head teacher. My letter is not taken for 2 years, so someone calls me, pay money, I will help you. And we find it forged and send them out of service. So, a human resource component in managing these thousands of teachers is still a challenge. Without like proposing a punitive arrangement, we can discuss it as a whole government to cause some corrective action so that teachers can access human resource services, them to be informed. The assumption is that each district which has a human resource system would support schools. But teachers complain against those human resources in the district offices. Teachers complain of their salaries not paid for months. So the district human resource system doesn't support them so much. So there is a gap and we have observed it as a commission, but my chair thinks our observation should be backed by research so that we can publish evidence-based complaints and findings.
Let me capture this from colleagues. Yes, Honorable.
Chair. Doctor, when you always go for validation. You have indicated here, you go for validation. You mean during your validation, finding out whether teachers are confirmed? I think that's one of the items when you have your sheet or validation exercise. So you don't take time, don't have time for teachers being validated to find out whether they are confirmed or not, and you still rely on head teachers to submit the confirmation request from teachers, because from experience, head teachers have a lot of demands from these teachers before they do anything for them, including what you know.
You cannot doubt your response.
Including what you know, relationships, what, before I do this, you do something. So do you still feel it's still necessary to rely on only head teachers to submit the teacher's request for confirmation? Then you are in the education sector. I've seen the schedule for recruitment of the teachers, and I've seen at the centers, I see 9 being scheduled for recruitment. Do you also take time to look at the enrollment in the schools? Do you think the 3 you are recruiting can fill the teacher-student gaps in schools? Are you aware that the teachers in secondary schools, we have a higher number of those paid by PTA and the board than the government, which PTA and the board they are scrapping from government-aided schools?
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Doctors notified us that they are at the tail end, waiting for the confirmations to pass through the normal channel. Then you do the confirmation. How about the reverse? Because you know that we recruited, for example, 4,000 teachers, and these are 5-6 months down the road. Their applications for confirmation are not reached your table. Do you still sit back and say, okay, after all the ministry has not submitted, what is your supervisory role in regard to that aspect? That in the financial year 2025, 2023, 2024, we recruited more than 4,000 teachers. This is financial year 2024-2025. The same people you recruited in the previous year have not come to your table for purposes of confirmation. Do you think it would be incumbent upon you to follow up and say, okay, where are our teachers? Because you've admitted that your sensitization mechanisms are still lacking. Isn't this the time you can come up and say, okay, ministry, there is a lot still in the pipeline? Thank you.
Thank you. Doctor, you know, we are all products of teachers. We went to schools, we saw the discomfort. Only that since you are here, I also wish to communicate with the teachers. Some government schools, there's a lot of caning. I won't call them corporal punishment, they will mix them with so many other punishments. But this one of using the stick, there are even some mathematics teachers who used to tell us, how do you call it? Even when you go on social media, there's a lot of joke around the teacher's conduct. I don't know, professionally, my chance we seem to have benefited at the tail end. But the risks, we want our teachers to be safe. as of recent, we have seen in the media teachers being taken to police over punishment issues. So what to advise teachers to, since you said, sometimes they lack awareness. We need our teachers to be safe because their spirit of ensuring that learners actually grasp what is taught is a good spirit. But when teachers end up at police stations, in police cells or in prison, we lose so much because they are the foundation of disseminating knowledge. And we just wish to communicate to them. I don't know if even these people, the so-called wardens or dormitories, because they're normally appointed from among the teachers. Sometimes they issue very reckless penalties, denying some children food, go back because you are late, because the bell ran and the time has passed. I don't know. I think you must also address that, especially in boarding schools. You will find that a child missed lunch or supper just because this child came late. Sometimes they have been late in class, and the teacher only knows one thing, that it is time for everything. Now you find a younger kid missing lunch, attending, then dozing in class, then upon dozing, that kid is claimed. Now, we must also work towards a school environment and class environment where, as we struggle to also support the teachers, they must also be empowered to support and facilitate good relations between them and the learners. But colleagues have also raised serious concerns that require your response, your point, and you do validation. At that stage, he's alluding to one thing that you must have observed, that these people we are validating are either confirmed or not. Because since you are the entity, you are the commission mandated with confirmation, these teachers have no way of reaching you. But when you are doing validation, you can also identify. Do you have other interventions you have structured and factored in to support these would be innocent teachers who may seek confirmation but have been delayed either by the teachers? And we take great interest when you say that some have been interdicted or even terminated from service because of forgeries. But one of the findings you have revealed is that many times they are tempted to seek for confirmation, and then the doctor in documents. Yeah, if I captured you right. Now, to such a level where you have also done investigation and seen that some are tempted to even forge some appraisals to seek so that they can attain confirmation. You can see how important confirmation is to these teachers. Please clarify to us and assist us understand.
On the validation, I would like to invite the Commissioner, Mr. Kajubiri, for Education Services to clarify that we need to say validation is not so regular. The nationwide was last conducted in 2021-2022. But Mr. Kajubiri, maybe you can complement, then I will answer the other question about gaps.
By the way, Captain Officer, how many commissioners do you have?
Is not a member of the commission.
Yes.
He's a public servant commissioner, like a commissioner for human resource. But the Education Service Commissioner has that post of the commissioner in charge of education services.
So for commissioners, you have how many?
So for the members, so far we have 5, and they are supposed to be 7. There is a vacancy for a deputy chairperson who retired at the end of June.
Yes.
And also for one member whose contract ended, but he has applied for it to be renewed.
So now you have 3.
No, we have 2.
You have
2
2
vacancies. Now we have the one in post 5.
So now how many commissioners do you have currently?
5.
You
Members of the commission.
Members.
Because we wanted to protect Kaya so that he's not called the commissioner and the others are
What are these commissioners? What are their names?
Chairperson is Reverend Professor Luoga.
Reverend Professor?
Luoga. Yes.
Yes.
The deputy chairperson, because we are supposed to have 2.
Yes.
One who is in post is Honorable Jacob Richards Opolot.
Jacob
Richards Opolot.
Yes.
The members now, we have Mrs. Rosie Izizinga.
Miss Rose Izizinga.
We have Dr. Beatrice Yakutaga.
Dr. Beatrice.
And we have Dr. Rosie Agoy.
Rosie Agoy.
Yeah.
So out of these, whose contract has expired?
No, the ones whose contract have expired are the two whom I didn't mention.
Okay.
So the ones whose contracts have expired, one was a deputy chairperson called Dr. Violet Kajubiri.
Yes.
Her contract expired at the end of June. And the other one member is Honorable Johnson Malina.
Yes.
Who has applied for renewal of contract, but his contract also expired in June.
Okay.
Yeah. So together, at that level of the board, whom we call members of the commission, so that they are not equal to Mr. Kaya, whom they supervise.
Okay.
With the commissioner, they are supposed to be separate. But the field places are now 5.
Okay.
It's 2 vacancies.
I think we shall seek to interact with the commissioners and also the minister to internalize and iron out some of these arising issues. But you can proceed and first answer. Okay, yeah. First answer all these questions if I open up here. Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Honourable Member raised the issue of validation. As the Permanent Secretary has observed, validation is not regular. In the last 5 years, I think we have had it only once, and that was 2021, 2022.
So in the last how many years?
In the last 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
You have done validation once.
The nationwide validation.
Yes.
And in that nationwide validation, we came up and we discovered a number of issues and came up with a report. And in that report, we realized there are teachers who are not getting salaries. Some were overpaid, others were underpaid. We also looked at the status of the teachers. We found some teachers who were due for retirement and have been kept there. Then in some schools, we found they are over-established in some subjects and under-established in others. We also identified gaps. And we came up with a report which we shared with the Ministry of Education and Sports. And arising out of that report, a number of actions were taken. We were able to identify gaps, some of which we filled. We had a recruitment exercise arising out of that. We also found people who had accessed the payroll illegally. I think the number was about 500. These cases were reported. Some of them were handled by police and State House Anti-Corruption Unit. And some were even prosecuted. Then they were also removed from the payroll. So when we got this report, we shared it with the different stakeholders. We shared it with the Auditor General, we shared it with the police, we shared it with the
Does it fall within the 2024, 2025 as well?
Yes.
We shall seek a copy to the clerk as we are processing our report and our findings. It may be a good piece of information.
Yeah.
And of course, when you say, if such a report will reveal that some teachers were underpaid, those who are overpaid, it is easy to recover. But what did you do for those who are underpaid?
So, because when we reported to the minister, she convened an interministerial meeting, which constituted the Ministry of Public Service, the Office of the Attorney General, CID, and all those investigative machineries of government. Because there are some more elements that require really further follow-up. Like you could find teachers who teach in a certain school being paid for payroll of another school. Those elements were also there. But since then, many of the issues have been corrected. And that validation was occasioned by a requirement to know how many available staff are available before we open up schools after COVID. That is a single validation which we did that covered the whole country. Of course, we identified those who are not confirmed, but still we don't confirm them. When we submit a report, ministry submits them again. Because the ministry is a supervisor, and they have to confirm that the person we are talking about is really there. Because they have to go to do more details. Teacher can appear once, when actually he had abandoned duty for about 5 months. So we can't hurry to confirm them. Mr. Chair, the honorable member also asked about the gaps.
Allow me to conclude, then you can be.
Yeah, he asked about the gaps. Yeah, the gaps are there for teachers. In fact, the validation indicated that the gaps that was existing within the teaching service was around the 43%. And it's a reason why the ministry massively submitted for posts to be filled. And that's why we got a big number of appointments close to the end of our strategy plan. Now, but the teachers are dynamic. The turnover is also high. The others retire. So we have a perception that there are gaps. And because of those gaps, I agree with the honorable member. Head teachers and the management boards resort to be creative to now charge parents to pay increased PTA so that they can hire their teachers. But we have also heard there is another motivator in some few schools. Is a person who is looking for survival. So if you say, I'm going to pay you 1 million, and you tell the parents, we have hired a science teacher who requires 4 million. So the board and the management can make actual difference. Now, I think the solution is really to fully fill those vacancies so that parents are not overburdened by this PTA contribution. The issues about to, if like we become proactive, because we recruited 7,000, like from this year of audit review, 2024-2025, up to 2025 December, we have recruited about 5,000, and then the minutes are there. The ministry, it has helped the ministry so much because the ministry is a big institution. Sometimes even if you write letter, the PS may take 6 months without getting those such letters. And with letters, sometimes you have middlemen who are interested if they take to them. So we agreed with the PS. Bring your staff, human resource, commissioner, government secretary, whoever, so that we have an intelligence meeting. And through that mechanism, many issues have been raised. We are even planning to have one of them. Looking at the...
You made in the execution of your duties, you have also identified another challenge of middlemen.
Yeah, they are there. Some of them have misled teachers into offering them transfer letters, and the teacher consents that someone called me from the ministry, but he told me to pick the letter from Makerere University. And the teacher, who is a teacher who knows gazetted offices of the ministry, picks a letter from someone.
Maybe these middlemen are not ordinarily allowed to loiter around your offices. Do you have a clear identification for your staff? Do you publish who is the staff of
some of them fellow teachers? There's a teacher whom we have dismissed from service who has been cited. He was unlucky because he has been notorious, changing names. When he wanted to do a transaction with some teachers in Shaka, the head teacher, who is a PhD doctor, said, I have to verify this letter of transfer. So he had to come to the ministry immediately before it was used. He told him, this is a forged letter. And immediately he worked with police. I think they must have spent some money to start tracking that gentleman. They found him in a ceiling, hiding in a ceiling. Because when he knew that he was there, he was in Malaga. But we learned that he was betrayed by one girlfriend whom he had problems with, who credited them where he hides. So eventually this man was arrested, but he unfortunately informed he's a teacher in government service. We have issued a letter to dismiss him. So those middlemen...
So someone goes to a teacher and presents a transfer letter.
No, he called teachers who were desperate for transfer.
Yes.
And he told them, I'm going to help you. It is a quick thing. So they paid their money. And all of a sudden, they brought the letter. But the teacher was aware that transfers were on hold. So he asked, how did you get the transfer? No, someone helped us. So he came to verify and we found the letters actually were forged. So they started a hand. Because if he had left them with those letters, those teachers were culpable for offense of possessing forged documents. So they hunted, police helped them until they located him in Barani, one of the suburbs called Lugazi. But the story that they found him hiding in the scene and they picked him, he's serving now in Barana. He has already been convicted. But the minister submitted him and we have no sympathy with special people. So the middlemen, some of them are known, but others are bystanders whom you can't identify.
But at the commission, have you taken efforts to tag and identify the rightful officers of the commission?
Who do what?
Because we don't want to assume that this happens only in schools. When these people have no access to the commission, how safe and secure is the commission and the services?
Mr. Chair, first of all, from the top, all our people who are managing the commission are people of high integrity. Reverend Professor Ngoga is a retired surgeon, is a retired professor of anatomy in Local University, and is a reverend. Honorable Polot.
I mean, not necessarily the personalities. In terms of your day-to-day life,
we have named
because prior you told us your offices is full of sacks. Sacks of papers, of documents, applications. You refer to applications. It appears whoever can pass around.
No.
I can bring a teacher. We will pass around that.
They are not accessible. They are not accessible. Our commission is protected by a police unit, and you have to go through that police unit. Actually, at a series of stages, and all our staffs are identified by name tags. And we are not many. We are only a population of around 85.
85.
Plus 7 members. So it is, and being squeezed, we don't want to say that it's advantageous. Everybody is visible.
Honorable Namboli, what do you have?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. My apologies, Mr. Chairman, but I will come a little bit late. It's not my usual norm. My name is Gerard Namboli, member of Governance, and a member of this committee. Mr. Chairman, my question goes to the accounting officer. I raised this the other year and I'm still raising it. This is a critical issue, especially because you know the schools that you are recruiting for, there are those that are operational and there are those that are non-operational. I'm talking about the 6 schools. To find the school has been in existence initiated by the community. It has been in existence since 1992. Government comes in, takes over the school, does the construction, but there are teachers and learners at that particular school. You subject these people to national exercise, competence tests, especially the teachers. None of them, you know, when they apply, the ratio is 1 to 250, the applicants, given the numbers in Uganda. None of them will go through. And yet you find that maybe about 5 of them, they are left with only 1 year to clock 50. They don't have another opportunity in Uganda to enter public service, you know. As I talk, I have a case in point. The parents have said, you know, if you are not encouraging local content in the area, then let's abandon this school. We take even our children somewhere else. Let those teachers come and teach. Like CC school. Yes, CC school. I have a regime that has just come on board. The construction is ongoing, but I know the same scenario is going to happen. So parents are saying, now what's the essence of us having this school? Then you subject these people to a national competence test. They don't make it. You bring here teachers who are not even willing to teach, given the difficult terrain and geographical location. So these are critical matters that we feel if you have issues, you should bring them to Parliament and we discuss about the issue of local content. You pick someone from Barara, post the person in Guinyanya, who doesn't even know the terrain, who doesn't know the geographical location. When it starts raining, it will rain from one week to another. They are not able to take it up. Mr. Chairman, I need a detailed explanation from the accountable officer because I raised this last night and he said he will bring it to Parliament and we discuss it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I think to validate your concern, we wish to learn how is recruitment done, because I believe there must be a policy. I think you wanted to include
Mr. Chairman,
a prayer.
there's a national policy, but there's also an issue of local content.
When it comes to
Because now,
the policy, I want them to speak to that.
okay.
Not you. I think you are making advocacy for your people.
Yes.
To
Especially on operation, because you know there are non-operation and then operational schools. Non-operation means that there are no students. Government comes in and puts up a school in the sub-county, and then they start recruitment from zero.
So
But the operation means the school is already running, and those teachers are paid by the parents.
I want to appreciate you, but there I want to validate it by picking it as a case study, because we are not into campaigning for a particular individual or area. We are into have understanding at a national level, at a policy level. I appreciate when you mention the school, they can use that as a case study. And when you say local content, I believe you are talking about people, sons and daughters on the soil. I think the accounting officer will give us clarity.
Mr. Chairman, whatever I've submitted reflects a national character. I'm not talking about only Blambo where it is a general outcry.
Yeah.
It's not only Blambo. I'm talking about the national issue.
Committee. I want to move it away from you owning your clarification and classification, so that we discuss it in terms of the whole country. The whole country. And of us an elaborate clarity, how do you arrive at this? And is there a possibility to factor in what he has called the local content? And so I think I wanted to just validate it so that we process it in an inquiry form.
Most of life.
Yeah. Yes, Honorable. I'm coming this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and our guests. I'm called Logose Sarah Annette, Woman Member of Parliament, Butaleja District. My concern is about the understaffing of the teachers, especially in the rural schools. It has been an outcry, and I would like to know, because at least today you're talking about the approving those ones who have been acting, but other schools don't even have teachers, especially those downer districts, if I may say. Those districts have an outcry of teachers. There are no teachers in schools. So I'm wondering, how is the recruitment process or criteria done whereby other schools seem not to be considered to give them enough teachers? Because you find a school with very many students or pupils, but with just a few teachers. So I'm wondering, is the selection criteria or the recruitment criteria considering only schools in yes please, only in urban centers or even in the rural setting? Because we need to sort this out urgently, because when you're setting the UNEBO exams, everyone is considered to be doing the same paper, and you will not, the children in the rural schools may not outcompete the children in the urban centers. So, Honorable Chair, I beg the accounting officer to at least highlight on that, because if I may also give an example, this one I picked it out from my well-known district, Butaleja district, and I can use it as a national example. And I feel like every rural district is experiencing the same. So, Honorable Chair, I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I think to validate this specific narrative of schools per region, before I wind up this session later, I may appoint another committee to do a case study of the schools, that in our next interaction we can capture what exists on those schools beyond the subdivision of the members. That we send a team to make a case study of some of these, to sample out some of the schools, that we have this revelation officially captured from those schools and on the ground, before we can consider them as a committee, to avoid them appearing as mere lamentation. We shall factor in interrogation and testimonies from the people of the soil, as Namboli said, from the regions. We shall sample out schools across the country, and then when we appear, we process our findings together with the commission and the accounting officer, so as to get clarity from our samples before we can process our findings. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. My sincere apologies for coming late. My name is Eliabra Lulinda, Member of Parliament for Ndogwa County West. Ndogwa County West. Yes, from the Switzerland of Chigezi. That's Calvary. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for the guidance you have just given, because in my understanding, even at the national level, laws are made according to the current wishes and norms of the community. Mr. Chairman, all of us represent certain constituencies with different issues. But even at the national level, national issues, national policies are informed by local government issues. Mr. Chairman, I want to, as a way of appreciating how you have already guided, I wanted to bring up a matter. We have a school around the shores of Lake Bunyonyi, Lake Bwama SS. Mr. Chairman, they have spent almost 9 years or 10 years without a deputy teacher. There is only an acting. Lake Bunyonyi Senior Secondary School in a parish called Bwama. Mr. Chairman, in this particular school, they normally post teachers in this particular school, because you have to cross the lake. Every teacher they send to that school, they will never report. Mr. Chairman, the ministry has just given us some very good buildings and they appreciate it. But up to now, they are not teachers. So Mr. Chairman, as we form that committee,
we are very happy by the submission from the MPs, and they know what we know. But what we needed to beg from you, sir, is that some of this information should be consumed by the Ministry of Education and Sports. They consume when we have the meeting, you are like commission facing the ministry, telling them what you are telling us. We are going to volunteer to also relay this information to them, because that's their responsibility. But to answer some questions like on city schools, government takes over schools in two categories, in two ways. One category is when they grant aid. When they grant aid, it is a community which could be a church or a mosque or a foundation body or any group which asks government. Exactly. So we are not able to run this school unless you give us a hand. Now government intervention there is limited. They tell you we are going to support 13 teachers since you already running. Then government has also another way of taking over schools when community submits them wholly to be named as city schools. The government invests money to improve on the infrastructure and government takes them over. Now government schools have to be fed through a competitive process. And the guiding principle is the principle of merit. Whoever performs better is the one who is appointed. And remember, in our clause in public service, you should be ready to serve everywhere within the boundaries of Uganda or outside Uganda in case you are elected. So the issue of local content in a government city school is really limited. And we want to really request local content to make your children pass, or local content to appease the teacher because he has been there. Someone who doesn't show merit. In fact, Mr. Chair, I need to inform you that at one stage we even found someone who tampered with his transcript fitting the local content because he wanted to be a local language teacher. He's a history and geography teacher. He went to NASA. They rubbed off everything to do with geography and put there a language.
Let him first finish.
So what he's explaining is not what I read.
No, let him first answer the way he understood it. Then you.
So a school like CC was submitted to government to be made a city school, and I think government put in infrastructure. Effectively, that means that every Ugandan who is competent and he can pass through a merit system, if he becomes the best, he should be appointed to serve there. And the appointment are liberal. When you are appointed, you have two options. You can accept or reject. So when people are appointed and they have accepted, now what the system should ensure is that they are supervised and they are serving what they are doing. Now, Mr. Chair, we had a problem. This forgery had affected teachers. Many of those academic transfers were forgeries and people are losing jobs. These days, if you went to a city school, you go to Karenga, go to Powell C, in this district below Aru. The teachers who moved there, who are 31, city schools usually get 31 staff. For 4 years, they are still there. But in previous, the teachers were moving around, go to the ministry, go to the streets, get transfer letters, and those could be honored. So we take interest and report to the minister about CC, but local content, I would really propose that we don't invest much in it. We will invest in someone who will make our learners to be like us, not to appease someone because he has been there. You know that some of the teachers who are locally teaching in those schools were sent away from government because of forgeries, and they feel that we are going to take them to run
Maybe Dr. Lukwal,
yes,
where you feel you want to refer to particular individuals, I will only permit where you have the supporting documents.
Yeah, we have.
For example, if you say, are you saying you have supporting documents for that school?
For like a teacher who interfered with transcript.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair, I need to inform you that these sitting teachers are not innocently sitting. Some of them have already paid.
Yeah, because what I mean, I don't want our proceedings to be misconstrued by a parent in a particular village somewhere, feeling that maybe because this teacher is from here, he might be among those. I'll only consider case studies, not general, because you are an immediate supervisor in line with the education service. Now, it will impute that teachers who are from localized areas may be misunderstood and misconstrued in line with your explanation. Maybe we shall just factor in case studies. You said that, for example, for this school we had these teachers, and this was the revelation. But generalization may demoralize teachers from local areas, because some must be there, they must be good. And purposes of evidence and proceeding, I would prefer it that way.
You have taken your guidance. So, Mr. Honorable Chair and the Honorable Members, I think that's when the minister now directed that every declared post under city school should be advertised nationally. Teachers came with receipts. I have already paid and contributed to the purchase of land for that school. Others came with the claim of I was sitting when government took it over because the best buyers came and they want to displace us. And actually the religious leaders represented us well when they met the president over the same matter. Because all of them had their schools, their previous schools. And the issue came up, if like it is a Muslim school, now I'm going to use Muslim because I'm a Muslim. And it is in my place like in China. So which Muslims do I want? Do I want a Muslim from Arua or from China? We found that Uganda is becoming more balkanized by localization of thinking. And everybody agreed, let the commission appoint, then you go and discuss with the ministry if you have a preferred candidate. There are some schools which are naturally marked, like a school for brothers of Christian instruction. We will not appoint someone to be a teacher. We have a way how to solve their problem. But once it becomes a government school, that's the approach, Mr. Chair. Then the other matter.
Maybe Honorable Nagori, what did you want to factor in?
Mr. Chairman, the information I wanted and the clarification is that I know there are matters of policy, but in most cases I put my point very clear. I was talking about difficult terrain and the geographical location. Because there are incidences that you have, not you, for you give, as I say earlier, you notify the Minister of Education. There are incidences where people have been appointed and sent to those schools. The only thing they reach there is to assign in the attendance register, and they don't report back. So we say now, like for the case of Uganda Wildlife Authority, when Uganda Wildlife Authority is recruiting, the priority is given to the what? To the local population who have the prerequisites. Even yesterday when UPDF is recruiting, was looking at the competence. You are saying you have your own here who can manage this. Do they have qualification?
Maybe that's enough. That's commission. According to the policy, maybe let's process it this way. According to the policy, how is that factored in the circumstances? When you open up, and at what state do you are you considered it to the locals or to special interests? And at what extent do you consider special interest generally?
We don't, because we are warned that one should not be part of our. And really, we need to know that if that different places in Uganda, where other Ugandans live, whoever doesn't want to work there should resign. If they sign attendance register and they don't report, that's a weakness of the teacher. Report them. Now we have simplified it. You disappear for 1 month, you are sent away from service. You can maybe appear once every week, you are reprimanded, or severely reprimanded, and the next step would be related to dismiss here. But our experience is that people are serving. There is a place called the Gopele in Oboi. Everybody was saying, oh, I need to read. People were appointed either from Rukungi or where, but Rukungi is also not better than the CC. It's because people have been troubled. Everybody has the feeling that other places are so bad. No, young Ugandans are willing to serve. They just need a supervisor.
Maybe
who should make sure that
maybe
they serve.
accounting officer.
Yes.
Dr. Rukwa.
Yes.
In your terms,
Yeah.
what is to disappear? Because I believe in employment we have aspects like leave, annual leave, paternal leave. In fact, most workers, including teachers, complain that the men are not given their paternal leave. It is only women who are given maternal leave. And so in education service, some shares have even never understood or even taken annual leave, and I don't know if you even have payment in lieu of leave in line with the Employment Act. Now the men don't get the paternal leave, so they are meant to work whether the wife has produced. And you said you're a Muslim. Sometimes even for Muslim men, when the wives have produced, but leave is within the law. So at what stage, and in your own terminology, what is absence? What is absence from duty? Because if you say you have now it down to, you said 1 month? 1 month absence. And 1 month is equivalent to the ordinary the annual leave absence. So what constitutes absence in education service?
Mr. Kaya, who is the human resources officer naturally, may make comments about those leaves. Mr. Kaya, if you can go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Leave, according to the standing orders, if you are away from duty for 14 days without informing your supervisor, then you are absent, and that absence is unauthorized. If you want leave, you have to apply for it. Like the Honorable Chair was talking about paternal leave, it is the responsibility of the officer to inform your supervisor to apply for that paternity leave. If you don't apply for it, it is not given. For the ladies, it is obvious, it will be seen whether they apply for it or not. Once you inform your supervisor that you are in that delivery period, it is automatic. But for the men, you have to apply. And it only, you will be granted if that spouse of yours is known and registered.
Do you allow Muslims to register their 4 spouses? For those who prefer to have 4. And some even marry traditionally a good number.
The regulation says this person should be registered. We don't, I think people are not restricted to whether Muslim or not, as long as the spouse is recognized and known, registered.
In terms of education service, how is a spouse recognized? Where do they register?
Mr. Chairman, these matters, most of these matters we are discussing are matters for the Ministry of Education and Sports because they are the supervising ministry.
But you are the one in charge of reprimanding these teachers as well.
Yeah, okay, we reprimand them after the ministry has invited them, taken them through, and then we will look at...
Yes, but you have said absence for 1 month is now, we have penalties for, someone can be dismissed. We want the teachers and also us to understand. Now the permitted leaves you have as...
Okay, the permitted leave, Mr. Chairman,
as education service, we should recognize.
We recognize annual leave. That is depending on the levels. But then for the teachers, it's different because as the students go on holidays, the teachers also are supposed to go on leave. We also recognize study leave, but that one also has to be applied for through the ministry. Then you give evidence that you are going to study, then the head teacher has to confirm that your absence will not disrupt the services or they have the replacement. Then we also have compassionate leave. This one has to be, you apply to your supervisor, not more than 10 days in a month. Then we also have sick leave. This one has to be approved by a medical officer.
So
then there is leave without pay. This one has to be approved by Ministry of Public Service. Then there's maternity leave, paternity leave. I think the teachers have been getting it. The challenge is for someone to disappear, and when things go wrong, then that's when they come back to say, I was sick. You are supposed to inform your supervisor when you are going on that leave. It becomes official leave when you have applied for it and it has been approved. And the accounting officers have the right to ask you to postpone your leave in the exigencies of service.
So, have you encountered instances that staffs or teachers have not taken leave in a given year?
For teachers, it is not possible because when students go on holidays, the teachers are on leave automatically.
So you are saying that for you, by implication, you say every holiday is a leave for a teacher?
Yes.
Do head teachers know that? What do they summon them to school to prepare, make preparations in all those holidays? Do you know that a leave is absence, but some of the schools require their teachers to prepare for the next academic year or next term in holidays? How do you factor in leave for these teachers specifically?
Mr. Chairman,
Or you haven't given it an
Mr.
attention?
Chairman, as I said, the issue of granting leave is with the supervisor, who is the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Okay. I think we shall interact with the ministry and also the commissioners, because we need to interrogate some aspects further. You have some other questions to respond?
Mr. Chair, when I was asked about the recruitment process. The recruitment process begins with identification of gaps at the school, and the head teacher or any supervisor in that school writes to the PS Ministry of Education and Sports and say, we have three gaps, and the reason why these gaps have fallen is because of this retirement, the teacher has died, the teacher has been dismissed, and so on. Now, the ministry compiles a national gap situation, indicating each subject which is missing some teachers, and he works with Ministry of Public Service and Ministry of Finance to identify whether there is enough wage bill, and if like the gaps occurs within a year, financial year before it ends, Ministry can submit directly to the Commission to start the process of recruitment. But if gaps cross over to other financial years, there is a need to get clearance from the Ministry of Public Service. So when the Ministry clears and Finance assures wage bill, then the Ministry of Education and Sports submits to the Commission, fill 3,000 or 5,000 vacancies, and they give a subject breakdown. And we go through them to make sure that actually, of course we demand the clearance as well, because sometimes there are accumulations when we could advertise before, finance is aware. So finance writes a letter, clear. Public service, the same. Once we confirm, then we advertise for those vacancies. When they fall under city schools, because we wanted to put in some kind of bonding, if you have read our advert, we say a successful teacher appointed in a school must serve at least 5 years. Because each city school is advertised as an independent advert. And we say 31 vacancies exist in this city school. And that teachers apply for it. So they make a choice. So eventually people come from all corners of Uganda and apply. And then we subject them to different interviews. Those who go and merit appointment, we appointed. So that's how we do. But we also share the same concern about the staffing gaps relating to urban vis-a-vis rural schools. And this is a matter which I think the committee can further discuss with the Ministry of Education and Sport, but we have taken note. Why? Because my chair was even proposing that our next research paper will be the gap analysis study staffing gap analysis study all over the country. And we are very busy writing concept. Of course, we are underfunded in the line of research. When I very happy to Tunida, I thought you wanted to say St. Joseph Chiwizige, but you have talked about economy. It is unfortunate that the deputy is not allowed for 9 years. But these are the issues which can be discussed with the ministry. Because they have many deputies. And we have many appointable people. Yeah, I think this is it. Mr. Chair. So we submit.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chairman. Doctor. Now, when the doctor mentions that recruitment depends on the gaps identified in schools, that is true. For the teacher, I'm understanding that these are teachers who either retired or have absconded, so they create gaps. But now, as a doctor, when you go outside the office, these are some of the findings which you help to inform the ministry, because sometimes you relate, you meet. Gaps cater for the enrollment, which was there by then when they were posting teachers. But now, there is also increased additional enrollment, which is causing this continuous complaints of teachers not on the payroll being more than those on the payroll. So, as you go back, you don't base on only the gaps, you know that there is increase in enrollment. Then I know what Honorable was asking, that the policy was there, that the schools that start as a community and later taken over by government as the city schools. In the past, they were giving opportunity to the initiators of the project. The policy has now changed. But in reality, what we're explaining to you is that we may not necessarily post the people who were in the schools who initiated. But when you are posting like teachers to Eligoni region, in hilly places, you can look through your recruitment and see people who are used to that condition, because they have passed your interview. You post them there. I mean, you don't post, but you advise that whoever in charge of posting or transfer them there, because they are used to the conditions. They may be effective. Somebody will accept from Uganda to go to Eligoni region, but we will agree with the teacher that I will be coming here one day, you cover me, and they agree. So we are saying, but when you post a person from that region, we will stay there, because that is his area. That's what we are meaning. Then on validation, I still insist, teachers rely on salaries to educate their children for those expensive courses. Now, if 300,600, I'm reading here, 3,626, let's remove 600 who have reached, who have not yet met the mandatory 6 months. 3,000 are not confirmed. How do you expect them to also fund their projects? It's a request that you, as one, I mean also, like you do some projects and educate your children, they also need to do it.
They get salary, even when they're not qualified.
But you get loans. They also need to get loans.
Maybe accounting officer, unlike a classroom, where a teacher may by discretion allow current answers. Here to capture the record, you wait for the member to conclude, record down, then your response that you also captured on record. I don't have the waiver within the rules to allow uncaptured answers.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, Doctor, you are a man of research, and these are the findings. You to be tested by you. So let's help these people. The personnel in charge of validation, let confirmation will be an item on your questionnaire when you go to the field. And I interact with the particular why oh, this long, 3 years, you are not confirmed. What? And you will get the narrative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Maybe to guide, we cannot lower the number of the unconfirmed applicants using your assumption. We have, yeah, so we want to take the number as it is, that the target was 16,200 for appointment, and what they achieved is 17,233. Now when you get 17, let's be mathematical, 17,237 teachers or applicants with education service minus those who are achieved, which is 13,611, we get 3,636. So for our record, 3,626 teachers were not confirmed within the financial year 2024-2025.
That was the period.
That is the period.
Period of 2020-2025.
Now that the period has not been segmented, we want to take it as provided for here. It is upon you now to avail evidence that will validate this number, not the verbal response. So you will assist us with your documentary proof as to how many of these fall within the OTCR and how many of these may not fall within the OTCR. We transact based on evidence, so that as we make a finding, if any, we capture and we also capture your record to validate this. But for now, we shall retain the number as it is until you validate it by evidence, not by verbal response. This is a bit concerning because these are teachers. These are teachers, and when you have a concern that some have school duty, some abandoned schools, we also want to interrogate further. Was it indiscipline or your failure to give them confidence by way of confirmation? It was a submission that you confirmed normally in 6 months. You said 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, now if a teacher is in the school not confirmed, with all the hardship as we hear in some areas, I will believe it is more likely such a teacher may find it uncomfortable. So even as we capture this passively for now, as we wait for interrogation, I believe you as a human being and who has served education service probably for some good time, you must have that humane approach in also interrogating ways and mechanism where and on how you as education service can be of assistance beyond the strict policy framework that keeps you at one extreme end. But again, within the law, you are the one empowered to do this. And that factors in his concern that as you are doing your validation, you also need to be supportive to these teachers. And whether it's part of your questionnaire or not. But why should you do the validation only once in 5 years? If it can assist teachers, of course it can be very useful for those who are schooling, but it would assist teachers who are there and delivering and genuine to serve. So proceed and offer your comments.
Thank you very much. I'd like to last comment that why you do validation within once in 5 years. Well, there are some costs, but if it is possible, because validation has some budgetary implication. If you don't identify those forgeries, in case you don't validate, it means that the government spends on forgery. So, if it was possible, we do validation every June as we start a new financial year to be informing budget about the number of human resources that are truly eligible to go on into with the service. Even if you identified 100 forgeries and eliminated, but we did it once because the funds were very fast then, and there was an urgent need to assess the situation after COVID, after closure, because of COVID. I agree with your guidance that we can maybe we can provide information about confirmation since this time. How many have we confirmed since the end of our strategic plan last year? I know we have confirmed a big number. It could be those people who are still there. We need to confirm. We can identify them by minute because a minute of the teacher has an inbuilt year when he was appointed. So we can say those whom we appointed in around 2025, 2024, who are confirmed, and we can provide that data.
Accounting officer?
Yes.
Do you participate in promotions?
Because the appointment include appointment on promotion. So all the appointments.
What is your consideration for promotions?
Experience, it depends on the post. Head teachers, we need someone who has served with government with experience of 12 years from the beginning of entry into government, not any other service. Because any other service is not quantifiable.
Because we are getting also concerns from some teachers and some deputy teachers. They have served for more than 15 to 20 years, never appointed as teachers, never promoted. They only see new faces.
Yeah, the deputy teacher works for government for 9 years to qualify for promotion. Now, what is the problem with secondary school education segment? Those are the only two promotional level. But in our scheme of service, we have proposed as a promotional path. We have proposed that even aside from the deputy teacher and the head teacher, teachers can be promoted to senior education officers and principal education officers. About 2 years ago, Ministry submitted about 150 vacancies for promotion to senior. But we had a lot of trouble because those people were promoted. They said the work was not there. They stayed long without getting their salaries until it was resolved between public service and finance. But if that was implemented, then teachers wouldn't be discouraged to be promoted for deputy only. Because the senior and principal are almost at the same equivalent in terms of salary with the administrators. But that one has faced a problem because of the insufficient wage. But apparently the routine promotion are only two: deputy teacher and head teacher. The deputy teacher, 9 years of service in government, and the head teacher is 12 years of service in government. So, I think Mr. Chair, we have picked a lot of...
Who does the transfers?
The ministry.
Okay.
Yeah, the ministry transfers. The ministry supervises and manages schools. We are there to service them when they want our service. So they submit, but it's not because they want, but it's constitutional that we should appoint their human resources. So they submit the gaps, and you work with them to avail those resources. But appointing, writing appointment letters, posting, transfers, initial punishment, administrative punishment, it is done by the ministry which manages. It is different from Kenya, where the Teaching Service Commission of Kenya handles everything, including accessing payroll, transfers, promotions, retirement, and so on. In Uganda, the Service Commission only appoints and punishes and retires, but on submission. So we also do work for KCCA, being a central government agency. So we appoint teachers in primary schools in KCCA. And we also work for other ministries like Ministry of Agriculture, Until last year, March, when the TVET Act was passed, we were also working on TVET institutions. But now they are managed through another law. So the Commission is no longer handling appointments in TVET. We are doing our final services to them, like designation, retirement, and others, but they will be employed in line with the new TVET law. Mr. Chair, we beg some.
Maybe to simplify further, you mentioned and cried out on space. The Auditor General cites an implemented procurement of 7 billion for your head office. I'm also seeing some permissions here from the Office of the President, or on your file, the NEMA clearances, among others. And then you continue to cry about space. Can you clarify for us what happened?
So that fund was not given to us, but our budget was that we wanted that money to kickstart.
The 7 billion is just to start, or it is for the entire project?
No, the project is bigger. Because the
project is planned at how much?
Our estimation from our consultant, who is the NEC, is about 32 billion. But we had thought that...
So where did the 7 billion come from now?
It didn't come.
I mean, how did that arise in the...
It was our projection that if we did start with 7 billion, NEC can start one.
So 7 billion was to take you from one stage to one stage?
They would start construction. In fact, NEC was that if we got an initial 7 billion with a promissory note from Ministry of Finance, we'll do this project completion and then government keeps on funding them until they're positive.
No, your answer is mixed. You said 7 billion will take you to completion. The 7 billion was to construct for your head office from what stage to what stage?
The details are there, Mr. Chair,
Wait.
because we have all the...
We want the details. Speak the details and give us documents.
Yeah, we have the architectural details, estimations and others.
In simple terms, was it constructing a foundation, the walls, the roofing, the furniture? What was it for?
We can revisit our details and see how much work we need to do.
Who has it? Because you came to answer this is a political query.
Okay.
Who came to answer it?
I think the auditors could have looked at our drawings, but we can provide that information.
Auditors, what did you look at for the 7 billion? How come the education service does it know?
Thank you so much, Chair. We looked at the procurement plan and the aspects they wanted to start.
So, there's an observation in the Auditor report on procurement. You are not aware?
We are aware.
The 7 billion was to procure what? How do you justify that you need the money when you cannot speak for it?
No, we know, but really, NEC promised that if we give the initial 7 billion...
By NEC you mean what?
NEC is National Enterprise Corporation. They
Yes.
will do initial warning up to the first level. But Mr. Chair, I need to be guided by documents so that I don't just...
We need a clear breakdown because
we can give.
It is surfacing
Yeah.
that you needed 80 billion and some amount and implemented procurement. I thought it is overhead. The Auditor General observed implementation of procurement plan. I assessed the entity's procurement plan against implementation status and noted that the plan to execute a procurement worth 9 billion during the financial year. However, I noted that only contracts amounting to 2 billion were implemented, representing the rate of 77. The unimplemented procurement related to construction of the head office planned at a cost of 7 billion. How come you don't know the details?
Mr. Chair, we know that narrative. It is only that that money was not available in our budget.
Who is in charge of this project?
Who is in charge?
Yes.
We have my other officers have since joined us.
Yes.
One of them is the principal police analyst. Another one is the principal assistant secretary pass.
So
who is designated as another secretary because our under secretary retired.
So who is in charge of this
now
project?
he's taking care of the project.
Yes, please
Mr. Pass.
update us on this project. What was the 7 billion for?
Thank you, Chair. I think the audit did not
check properly. It's not 7 billion. Our plan is 43 billion as the accounting officer has indicated. And the chair, if you need the details, we have the detailed valuation report and then the architectural designs. They are there for we can verify. They can be verified.
But Auditor General, did you state why is the entity denying yet we even have a response of the accounting officer?
I can compliment on my office as well.
Yes.
What the auditor observed in our procurement plan, that was a projected procurement plan, with assumption in the event that funds become available and we are funded by that 7 billion that financial year. But that funding was not realized. It was not released to us. But it was not like the funds were there. No, it was our procurement plan because we assumed this project would start.
I want to appreciate your that.
Yes.
But I need the breakdown. If you have a plan of 7 billion, you must have deliverables. How can you defend a figure which you can't account for?
No, we do have some. We have all the drawings, and it was derived from that feasibility study. And
so it was to assist you at that level because the procurement person you pointed at could not clarify. Now you are taking it back. Auditors, you made this observation, and you even had an observation as a response from the education service. Clarify for us why are they not aware yet you are aware? First of all, you work with the auditor general or you are the private auditor?
I work with the auditor general.
Yes. You put it closer.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. The construction of this office, the Education Service Commission has been desirous to construct the office. However, because of various challenges, the project has not yet gotten approval from the relevant committees of Parliament, and therefore...
No, don't insert what is not in the audit report. And don't try to defend the entity unless you disclose the interest. So what is not contained in the audit report cannot be inserted. You cannot insert a new revelation. There is nothing like a mention of Parliament in this audit report. What is available here, you state that the accounting officer explained a different explanation. We are only surprised that they cannot own this figure or even explain this figure, at least at this note. Now, who is saying what?
Thank you so much, Chair.
And this report was tabled before Parliament, before being sent to COSASE. These are the findings of the auditor general. You cannot insert it or even reduce any word from it. My question is, how come they are not aware of the 7 billion that was observed by the auditor general? And the auditor general stated that failure to fully implement all planned procurement delays services for which the procurements of works and services of which were intended. There is even another advice by but there is even another advice. You stated here that the commission received the clearances. I think that's their response. But accounting officer, are you the one who made this response to COSASE? Or someone just wrote it and you're also landing on it?
When it became an issue after we had responded to the auditor, then we made a second response here. And we said...
Are you the one who prepared this response or someone prepared it for you?
We are the team. I lead the team.
Who were among the team that responded?
My principal accountant.
Principal accountant? Go slow. Principal accountant? Who else? I know you can introduce them. You can mention them. Who?
The principal assistant secretary past, principal police analyst who are actually our planners, our planning unit.
And they responded to this and forgot.
I think what
I'm almost thinking of putting them on.
What we omitted, sir, is that we couldn't expound on what that 7 billion would do. But we have that information because we have all the drawing and the what we called kickstart. If you unpack it, it is detailed.
But in a project form, you want to receive the word kickstart. At 7 billion, you want to only dig a foundation?
It's a big, not a foundation.
You then substance.
We want to build walling and some walls and go to the...
Any evidence?
Yeah, we have evidence.
Where is the evidence?
We have the drawings.
Where?
Okay, we didn't bring them, but it is our mission and we regret it.
So only the drawings can speak to the project?
Yeah.
Only the drawings?
There are bills of course.
Because the drawing is for the entire project upon completion.
Yeah.
And you are saying 7 billion is to quick start. I want how do you quantify the 7 billion was for what?
Mr. Chair, there are design sheets and each level is quantified and each work is quantified. But when we discussed with our contractor, we noted that work was of 7 billion, which can be sent to this commission. And if like is followed by annual funding, this project could be completed within a period. But that what we regret perhaps is we didn't give details about what this one can do.
I think I'm not appreciating your clarification on this. I will only give you a benefit because probably you are teachers and serving teachers to prepare again and respond to the commission on this.
Yeah.
Because that's courtesy to offer a benefit. You cannot appear not to know a figure that is within an audit report. There is a response in the query, and when I see that the auditor trying to factor in what is not explained within the audit report, I take interest and shall interrogate further. In this audit, there is a probability that it covered you up, because I want to put on task the auditor for now. But since the report is as it is, I want to extend it to his verbal submission. And I will sustain the report as it is. And we receive this report from Parliament. And by the time we invite you, it surprises us that you don't account for even the written responses within it. You are trying denying the figure. The auditor is now bringing in Parliament, which is not captured within the audit report. Even upon turning to you, you are now talking about the drawings, that the drawing will explain the 7 billion. Now, it is a complex, a complex anomaly, meaning that we are taking interest to interrogate this particular project, the head office project. Because with this kind of uncertainty, the building can never be constructed. Who knows what to do if you don't know what to do? So we are going to investigate thoroughly the construction of the head office of Education Service Commission. We want to interrogate, and where possible, we shall also inspect the site, the planned site. And have you appointed contractors? Or you haven't reached that level?
Mr. Chair, there are some minimum work which was done during the project preparation, because that work involved removing the squatters, leveling the ground, building the retention wall, and the transfer the power line that was passing through the plot that was given to us, and holding it off. And then that was done by NEC as an initial phase. We were supposed to go and sign a contract for them to continue with the phase based on whether they are the best to go on. But because we had contracted them to do design and build, we thought after that preparation we could go ahead and build. That's why we get a snag that this money would not be released, was not released. But we had already captured it in our procurement plan. Now, failure to release it meant that this project didn't go beyond that level. But the site is there, it is hoarded, it's protected, but there is no contract on site. It will be costly to maintain a contract on site.
Okay. Just because of and for respect to teachers, I would afford you a second chance. I want to send you back today to prepare well and substantiate on various aspects, including the projects, the construction of the head office, what the 7 billion captured by the auditor we are meant for. and at what stage is that project? Because if you mention that some work has even been done, are we going to find a situation where we are paying for already done work? So but when you have uncertainties on how to account for these figures, it speaks much. And so go back and prepare. You will appear again here on 1st September at 8 a.m. That's next month. That's a week away. And I want you have to appear with the minister. You have to appear with the minister. I want also to summon the Minister of Education. At least I know there's an acting minister of education. One John Muyingo, I think he's still active. I want also the commissioners. We want the minister to substantiate for us and explain. These are normally the absence of a full commission. Why some members are not? Who appoints the board, the commission?
The members appointed by the president.
By the president. Okay, we shall get guidance from the minister as well. And then to we want also to interrogate the issue of confirmation, because you alluded to the fact that the ministry which actually processes before you confirm, and teachers in true education service. And because we are identifying a delay of over 3,000 plus teachers, I think in our counting for that period, we counted 3,600
Even posting teachers when
and 26, even posting
issues.
And then we also hear expressions that there are some condiment people because of that lacuna. Now we have emergence of condiments. It is really concerning teachers and teachers who are anxious to be confirmed or promoted, and now also interfacing with conmen. It's not enough that some suspects were handed over to police or some other agencies. It's very important that there must be efforts for a speedy process, so that confirmation, once a teacher arrives seeking for confirmation, within the required period, you said 6 months. After 6 months, a teacher can apply. When someone applies, you said you can process it in 1 month.
Between the application
yes.
and the commission, there is a ministry.
Yes, after if the ministry has been passed, if the ministry submits, how long do you take to process?
1 month.
1 month. Maximum. So, in a situation where people are taking years and it hasn't been well investigated, we need the minister to explain the role of the ministry and why are they failing on their role, especially in the situation that we have. We have a lot of concerning revelation. And now, so I want to send you back today, but out of courtesy, I want to advise that prepare to substantiate and clarify your responses in line with the audit report.
Maybe I make a request for
Yes.
the see you closing almost.
Yes.
1st September, because we're starting from next week, these days we adapted having field-based interviews.
Yes.
Why? Because teachers were complaining for the cost of all of them traveling to Kampala.
Okay.
Yeah. About 2 weeks ago, we are slotting.
So you are starting when?
We are starting on Monday, 24th, and we'll be there to 4th September. So we'll be in Bagara, care for
4th
college
September.
basic,
So
and the
4th September is which day?
Mbari for Bukeji and Educ.
So if I give you 50, you find it okay? 50. So
50 is a Saturday.
the following week.
Yeah.
Which day? What is the following Tuesday?
Following Tuesday, for myself as a PS, it will be the first Tuesday of the month. I think first Tuesday of the month will be first. But first Tuesday of the month is the meeting of PSC. Okay, it will be available. We should be available.
Mr. Chairman, as I know you are about to
But yes.
this is equally good so that the accounting officer can also prepare and come with.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, when you look at page 5 of 12 on Kajubiri. Also, there is failure to utilize PGP system for procurement activities. We will also need some explanation on this. It is a critical matter, and there is a figure attached to that which is about 6.06 billion. It is also a critical matter raised by the Auditor General.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Honorable.
There are quite many.
Yeah, and you address all observations of the Auditor General. You have the Auditor report.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. The doctor talks about squatters, that they remove the squatters on where they are supposed to construct headquarters. I am not even sure whether they are in possession of the land title, so they should prepare so that that land title, the copy is available. Also, he talks about make contract. If he can show us evidence that that contract was cleared by Solicitor General, because any contract above 200 million must be cleared by the Solicitor General. So in your appearance, you need to have those facts. Thank you.
So I don't want you to respond and claim that you responded. You are returning here. We said on 8 at 8 a.m. To answer all these observations and query within the Auditor report. But we are returning together with your commission, and also we are inviting the acting Minister of Education to assist us and his team to assist us in our consideration of the Auditor report. Meeting adjourned. No. We are going to usher in the team from Uganda Forest Commission, and as announced earlier, we received a formal request by the former accounting officer to appear alone, citing security concerns among others. So we have permitted her to appear today, and we are going to, in the next 2-3 minutes, we are going to commence our proceeding to entertain her testimony to assist the committee as we process the Auditor report for Uganda Forest Commission. Clerk, you can usher in her. Honorable Namboli, please escort the witness.
Okay, yeah.